Good evening, everyone. This is Pradeep, Ambassador of Change from GETI, the Global Education and Training Institute of Lucknow. And we are the premier institute for training teachers and principals in India and several parts of the world. We have many in-service and pre-service programs, and for more information, you can go to 740-840-1000. Right now, you are on our disruptive education platform provided to us by our mentor, Dr. Sunita Gandhi. And on this platform, we have met with and interacted with more than 1,500 educators from India and all over the world. And this evening, we have for you Dr. Tuncer Jan, Associate Professor, Istanbul University, Cerrahpaşa, ELT Department, Istanbul, Turkey. He has been fond of gaming ever since he was a child and has now developed it into making these things himself. In 2005, he was granted a Fulbright scholarship and he spent a year at Syracuse University, New York, USA, where he taught Turkish via video conferencing. Dr. Jan has taken part in 6 EU Erasmus Plus projects, also related to immersive environments, teacher training and foreign language learning, like Camelot, RNI, Tableau, Guinevere, Articulum, and UALS. He has been a part-time scholar at Turkish Air Force Academy, IU Linguistics Department, Medipol University, and Bahçeşehir University, ELT departments. He has also edited and co-authored the Less is More English Coursebook Series, Full Circle Skills Series, and Swift's English Coursebook Series from Global Press. He is the director of IUC Continuing Education Center and vice director of IUC School of Foreign Languages. Thank you, sir. Good evening, and thank you for being with us. And he will be speaking to us on 3D virtual worlds in language learning. Thank you, sir, and over to you.
Thank you, Pradeep Mal, for pronouncing my name and trying, and thank you very much for succeeding it. As Mr. Mal already told you, I turned my childhood ambition into my job, so to say. So in this context, I have been actually designing and doing my own, creating our own environments in 3D and in 3D virtual worlds. These days very famous as the metaverse. So what we have been doing there today, I will try to report to you and perhaps flame some of you to do also something like this to disrupt the education as the mission of GETI is. And when I read about their activities and their ideology and everything, I really felt like home, because it has always been my dream also in my professional life to disrupt the education, to disrupt the regular and traditional education and do something different and new, to be able to attract more people and then to provide actually quality learning for our students or the teachers to be. So in this context, Mr. Mal already told you about that we have produced a course book series, actually 2, Less is More and Full Circle, with a global approach. So this is recognizing the local and the global together, rather than only having for language learning. And also we have been doing these activities on which I will be reporting today, and you will also see some of the examples here. So let me start by showing you where I'm from. This is Istanbul University, and then Istanbul University is the first university in Turkey. Actually, it has been around for more than 400 plus years. But of course, the establishment of the republic, of course, the term university started to be used, like Istanbul University. So it's 1933, but it dates back to 1453, actually. So this is where I am from, and I'm very happy to be in this place. The outline of my presentation today is going to be our experience within virtual worlds, like three-dimensional environments. And then what we did there with our students, what we built in there. And also I'm going to talk about, Mr. Mal also mentioned about the 6 European Union projects, which are right now 9, because we are keeping getting them because we are doing something worthwhile, we think. And 2 of these projects, Camelot and Guinevere, were specifically related to three-dimensional virtual worlds. And of course, all the experience we get from these EU projects, we are actually transferring to our own school and our own country, and then we are using them in education. And then in the end, I'll share our research, because we are not doing this just for fun. Like I said, in my childhood, it was fun. But then today, it's not fun anymore. This is a serious business which requires attention of research, and I'm just going to report on that as well, if these environments work or not, right? So we have to know. Okay, this is the abstract of my talk. Metaverse, these days, very, very famous word. Everybody's talking about metaverse. Metaverse previously has been used, as you all would remember, for the three-dimensional virtual worlds. These days, it is being used for the Facebook's Meta company, and then the metaverse that they're going to create. And this is the difference between what I'm going to talk today and the metaverse. Is the metaverse is accessible through these fancy goggles, which are still expensive, $500 a piece. If you really want Oculus Go, for example, versus the 3D virtual worlds, which are accessible through the computer screens. And I would argue that computer screens are all around the world today, and they are cheaper. You can get computers and get people use the computers in all the world today, almost. But very difficult to supply these goggles and then to take people to metaverse. Plus, there is a lot built in 3D virtual worlds, a lot, because they're around for 20 years almost, computer accessed three-dimensional worlds. However, the virtual reality referred to as metaverse and accessible through these goggles, head-mounted displays, as they call them technically, they are not around, and they will not be around until they are cheaper, I think. So difficult for them as well. But I would argue that using three-dimensional virtual worlds, you can do a lot of things with your students, with your teachers, in your teacher trainings, to give your people a lot of like I said, a disruption and a little bit of relief from traditional education, and then let them do something different and learn in this context. So I would argue that there is it's an outcome-driven environment, that it provides a meaningful communication, and I'm going to provide a lot of examples today on these. And then it also promotes planning, design, and assessment as well. No problem at all. And how does that happen? I'm going to show you examples. And then the 3D virtual world tasks can also be given to students to realize, and in the end of the day, they can actually continue doing their learning on three-dimensional, and it's as if we are going to their space, to our students' space, rather than expecting them to come to our space, the classroom. Okay, and then interaction, and then it's of course cognitively demanding, and it's in the form of avatars, and this and that. So this is basically what I'm going to talk today in a nutshell. So our experience within three-dimensional virtual world starts in 2012. 2013, in that year, when we acquired a place in the Second Life. And I'm here not to sell Second Life, but just the idea of three-dimensional virtual worlds. And I choose to work on Second Life because Second Life is the most complete of those and most developed of those environments, because there is Linden Lab company behind this, and then they earn revenue, and then they allow for creative people to produce artifacts, NFTs of today, if you like, and then you can buy those artifacts. So it really contributed a lot to the company, and of course there has been millions of people visiting this environment every year, and because of this, the possibilities are endless, so to say. That's why we are using Second Life. So I'm not here to sell you Second Life, but I'm here to sell you the idea of using three-dimensional virtual worlds to attract our students for better learning, and to actually go to their place rather than asking them to come into our classrooms, traditional classrooms. So we acquired a place in Second Life, and then we built our gate, rectorate building, and the fire tower of the university to represent ourselves in this environment. Yeah. And to give our students the idea that we can be there where you are playing games, sometimes even as you know, violent games perhaps, but then we can bring some peace through education into these violent games as well, if you have nice tasks done over these games, and a clever teacher would know. And today I'll try to give you some examples. And then what we did after building our 3D virtual campus of our university, we asked our students to do some activities, do some tasks, create some materials, and a lot of different things. All right. So this is the Istanbul University. I started with the real picture of my university, and this is the three-dimensional virtual world picture and the entrance of our university in the Second Life. Now, Mr. Mal, can we move to our video, please? Thank you. Okay. Here is my presentation, but I will continue this presentation. I want to add some depth, okay, into this. And with this depth, I want you to see the functionality of this space, what we have done for some minutes, okay? Let's see that.
Sir, if you could maybe raise the volume.
Okay. I think this is the... sorry, the Second Life space, and then we are doing all our activities. Now I'd like to...
Yeah, we can hear it.
Pictures from our place where we are doing a lot of activities with our students, teachers to be. These are all people who are going to become English teachers, and they learn about the potential of this environment and how they can use those with their students in the future while they're teaching the language, English language specifically. In the first picture, you see this is Istanbul University thing, and then this my evolution as well. That was my first picture taken in this campus when we built it. Very proud about that. And you see on the first picture our students filling in the space. We are very proud because each year I have 80 students who are going in world, going into our sim, and then learning about this environment and creating machinimas, creating other activities. Right now, because of our new project, they're creating more games and these kind of activities right now. So see our students. We are doing some classes with them, initial classes, like you see, and on the fourth picture, what you're seeing is the Faculty of Education, which is nothing like that in the real world. All rusty. It's not a beautiful place, but you change this
way of looking in the eyes of your students, because they see something very contemporary, beautiful, and digital as well, because this is a virtual, but this is how it attracts them as well. So in the fourth picture, what you see is our auditorium where we are doing some classes, where I'm asking them to do presentations, not only me, because I want them to get involved into these worlds and become doers and become makers, and then create their own space in this environment. Um, in the next picture, what you're seeing is perhaps one and only. This is our Istanbul University Faculty of Education English Language Teaching Department studio. This is a radio and television building that we possess, and perhaps in no other school I've never heard, especially in the faculties of education. Um, this has never been done, but our students, because of the second life and because of the virtual worlds and the opportunities that we have in there, what they're doing is they're doing programs. They have the chance to present their own programs. They share information. They share presentations. They share information about their school, about the things that activities at school, and we have a regular radio and television building, which is virtual. Of course, it's not real, but the students really like to do activities in here. They're doing their own programs, like I said, sometimes educational, sometimes they just have fun in there. And you can also follow that on Facebook. We have Istanbul University Faculty of Education radio and television channel as well. You can watch the things that they're doing on Facebook, and that's what it is. So, like I said, we do a lot of things since we have this opportunity here. Um, where did the starts go? We first started in EduNations. We started with Heike and Randall, and we had a very small space, only one.
And now, can we please move to the? Yeah, PPT. Thank you. So you have already seen in another mode what we have been doing with our students in this environment, and how it attracts them actually to do a lot of activities, since it is more contemporary than it is actually their actual school is. So they always were complaining about the environment of our school, because it's not beautiful, but then moving some classes here, they were really very content and proud to be there. So anyway, let me just continue. Let me just continue with the next video, which is basically about a class that we did in this environment. And I would like to show you how this environment actually oh, sorry about that. Let me just very quickly find it. I think it's should be somewhere. Okay. YouTube. Sorry about that. It was there, but where did it go? Okay, it should be here. Okay. Here it is. There we go. So what you see here is my class. It looks like a regular class. The only difference is, and the context of this activity here is that we have a comparative education class, which is in the fourth year of our program. And I asked my students, since it's the name of the lesson is very, very attractive, comparative education, I said to them, let's compare a class in face-to-face with a class in virtual world. And this was back in 2013, so almost 9 years from today, right? So and then we planned a face-to-face lesson, which was on Tuesdays at 2:00, and then the second live lesson was on Fridays at 8:00. Okay, so I gave them the chance. Whoever wants to come to face, it's okay. But if you want to do the other one, you're more than welcome. The first week, we had 18 students. The second week on Second Life, the second week we had 40 students. On third week we have 60 students. So all the students moved to Second Life, hearing from each other how attractive this is, how nice this is to do the lesson there. And then there is no difference between doing the face-to-face lesson and doing this lesson with them in Second Life. And then all the students moved to this environment. With this experience, we were able to attract the rector of the university to come and see this this fun. And then he did. We invited him. He did, and then he was very happy seeing that we are doing something very contemporary. And he gave us a project where we could actually build our own campus on this environment. So let me now show you a very short clip of how it is to teach in this environment. And as you see on the right side, I have my computer, right, where I uploaded my presentation. Okay, and behind me, you will see my screen where I am sharing my info. Okay, and these are the students filling in the classroom. Okay, so this is the second week. All right, let's go. Oh, by the way, I did it in Turkish because I didn't want to intimidate my students, because the face-to-face class was in English, okay, since the comparative education, as the name suggests, is in English, of course, and it's a English department, English language teaching department, but I did it in Turkish. And you know why? Because at the time, 2013, when I checked the Turkish presence on the internet, it was only 1.1%. Okay, and I said to myself, we should do something to create some Turkish materials here, and then we should have more presence if you really want to be part of the universal world. And now it is more than 1.8, which is, we contributed a little, not a lot, but still we are trying. And that's why I did this class in Turkish there, but the material is in English. So look what's happening. I'm asking a question to someone, okay, and then what I receive is both communication in sound, almost like Zoom, today's Zoom, or any other a device that makes us communicate, okay, like a phone. But also there is another thing which is superior to the face-to-face classroom, which is, other students are able to write into the chat their ideas, and then they can be in the discussion as well. I have a question in face-to-face class. I look at Hakan, he answers my question, and I can only talk to him, and I don't know what the other students are doing, and they are not represented by voice in the classroom. However, in this environment, as you're seeing, Özgür and other people are actually writing to me, and what I'm doing is I have a second channel with the rest of the class. Although I'm talking to Hakan, I can still cite from Özgür and others. You will see that more people are writing. Their ideas are also represented, so nobody is left behind. Everybody can be in the lesson, in the discussion, but not shy away like how it all happens in the real face-to-face classes. Let's see.
Nasıl yani? Tamamıyla iş. Biraz daha açarsan şöyle, eskiden gözlemliyordum ya da işte babadan oğula geçen bir meslek.
We are just arguing about the use of education in the world. Okay, so why and how education for countries, the governments, and then. But the point here is, I want you to see how natural the communication is. By the way, this is 2013. Yeah, this is not today, even not today.
Sanayi devriminden sonra tabii ki okullar yaygınlaştırıldı ki bu eğitim olanağı artsın ve biraz daha eğitim sektörü hizmet alanına döndüğü için bir şekilde eğiterek insanları ve bunu Hakan'ın gittiği yoldan da
And I'm building on other people's voices. I'm building on Serkan Doğan's or Serkan Doğan is actually contributing to Hakan's answer in voice. So I just put them together, and we have a fruitful discussion here about. So let me just show you how what my background is. Oh yeah, here it is, I guess. Let's just see that very quickly. here it is. As you see, the public schools, the private schools, what is their value, and then your students. So you see, it looks like a real regular classroom. It's nothing different, right? In the next weeks, what I noticed is, and this is also possible, the students actually cannot be represented. They cannot bring information to the classroom, and even if they can. There are the means and the modes are very low in face-to-face classes. What we did here in this environment, we put another. Let me just, yeah. You see there, Bora Akgün is just hanging there in the mid-air, but he's actually doing the recording of the session. Okay, that's why he's up there. So anyway, we put another screen there where the students can actually bring in information from outside into the classroom. So see this, the first screen, they can't actually control anything because it's all my area, but then they have their own space where they can bring real information into the classroom and into the discussions. And this is what we were able to do in the end of this 10 weeks of training. Now we can go back to our slides now, just to give you more ideas. All right. Okay. All right. So you already see the classroom, what I did, and I was not the only one to do this, because other people heard about this experience of mine, and the rector's promotion was also very effective, and other people also asked to do classes here. And with this experience, we were able to secure 2 different European Union projects, one Camelot, and the next one is the Guinevere. So 2013 to 15, and the next one is I think it's 16 to 19. So 3-year project we secured from Erasmus Plus. So and then we worked on games, serious games, and then now I would like to show you some examples of those. Here are this is basically the short outline of the activities that we have done with games there. Okay, so I'm going to show you the Machinima project, number 1. And what is the Machinima about? Machinima is a machine cinema. Okay, machine cinema is where your students are going into this 3-dimensional environment. It could be anything like Sims, Second Life, any 3D game, video game, where they are actually recording some scenes, putting them together, and they have some short movies. Okay, out of this, and 2 of my students applied for a short movie contest, and they won awards. 1 first place and 1 second place, and the first place comes from Nottingham University. I think it was was it a TESOL or something like this. The best technology integrated lesson plan. Okay, so let me just show you. Yeah, this is what our students have been doing, and this is the teacheranima.com. And if you go and visit that, teacheranima.com, which is the teacher animations, okay, you can see a lot of examples, but all of these examples are also linked to lesson plans, which means you can use all of these in your lessons right away to teach simple past tense, to teach discussion for writing, as a warm-up for writing. You can teach I don't know, zillions grammatical topics, so you can enjoy those on Teacher Anima. And I still keep it because I want my students to be proud with their own work and the world to see what they have been doing, and they're also very proud to have this environment as well. So I think another thing is the language part, where we had the Italian people from Naples University hook up with the Turkish students from Italian department at Istanbul University, and then they did some activities together to learn together, to practice Italian, with games and a lot of other things. And we have also done some research with these students, and these are all published. You can see it in my CV as well. The coordinate system, well, it takes forever, as you see. Let's just move to a 5-minute video, if we can, to wrap up all of this, because I really want you to see a professional storyteller rather than myself, because since I did all of that, I can talk forever, and I don't want this. I want to keep it like 5 minutes here, because this is what it is. Okay, so here it is. Yeah.
You may have noticed that there is no shortage of VR events where the topic is some variation of the future of storytelling in virtual worlds. When I bring up Second Life in that context, the first question I always get is,
So, whatever happened to Second Life?
Second Life is doing very well, is my standard answer, especially in education. And here is Professor Tuncer to tell us why.
Because we're creating some playful, engaging, and colorful environment.
Tuncer teaches at the English Language Teaching Department at Istanbul University.
The human being needs to be relaxed to learn something. We all know that under stress, we learn nothing.
Second Life facilitates a vibrant exchange of ideas, says Professor Chan, partially because it affords students full agency over their avatars.
They want to reflect their own real characters that's behind their social masks. I had one student whose voice I've never heard in my life, and instantly when we had this comparative education class, he started using all his experience, and he said that this anonymity that Second Life allows, nobody looks at me. I started sharing. If I can put that into scientific terms, the affective filter is down.
Tuncer's colleague Irfan Şimşek from the Computer Education and Instructional Technology Department adds one important component to using Second Life successfully in education.
I think it is important to first replicate a real classroom because students will feel secure because it is something they know.
Irfan helps future teachers evaluate digital tools for classroom use. His comparative studies on, among other platforms, Adobe Connect and Second Life have concluded that
if we are using a virtual world, we can feel that we are together in one space, like a real life.
Istanbul University, founded in 1453, serves some 200,000 students. Tuncer and Irfan maintain the virtual version of the campus, which proudly displays several historic landmarks like the gate, the rectory building, and the fire tower, whose virtual version is definitely easier to climb than the physical counterpart.
This is where we're gonna go up this tower.
The views, though, are spectacular.
Now you're seeing the Bosphorus, the beautiful bridge, and then you see part of the Golden Horn as well.
Istanbul is a real big city because the population is around 15 million. We are one of the 10 biggest cities in the world.
We made it. Okay, next thing we need to put teleport device here.
In fact, just a teleport away is Erasmus Island, where the 500 foreign European exchange students visiting the school each year can get acquainted with campus life prior to arriving in Turkey.
So we give them information about what they should do before coming, or while they're here, during their staying here, and then we're giving them information about what they need to do after they leave Istanbul. This creates an easy access to the culture.
Gülçin Tasmedi is a beneficiary of the Erasmus program, but traveling the other direction. She's currently living abroad in Bremen, Germany.
Erasmus Island, we get to know each other, we teach a little survival Turkish. I wouldn't have a feeling of being afraid that I will be lost in the university.
But while bridging the gap between cultures is a key component to Second Life's success in education, Gülçin's colleague Sariko Kusuc, who is still in Turkey, points to her favorite feature of this world: the ease with which one can create supplemental visual teaching materials.
English grammar can be very difficult, and we only have these boring books for teaching. But when we use Machinima, the students retain information much better because they become a part of a fantastical story.
And so Sare and mutual friend Çağlar Padlar collaborate on actual storytelling in virtual worlds with Gülçin in Germany.
We build the movie set and we play the story together with students, and then we edit the movie.
Machinima is the technical term for films made using game engines, and under the guidance of Professors Irfan Şimşek and Tuncer Can, dozens of such videos have been produced.
The individuals can create materials which suit their own context. This empowerment of the teacher is, I think, superior to all other materials.
In their quest for the most effective digital teaching tool, Tuncer and Irfan have also tinkered with Second Life's built-in scripting engine.
We made a proof of concept to teach 7th grade geometry. The robot will give you a feedback, then creates confidence even in kids who say they don't like math.
We use the constructivist approach here, where the students can actually link fractions to real things in life.
Like, for example, everybody knows that you need to have the strongest dog in the front. If you can do it right, then you get onto the sleigh and then it moves.
We also made a game where you have to find out what crops grow in which part of the country and what the weather conditions have to be like in different climatic zones of Turkey. If you are correct, you see the results change in real time.
As inspiring as all these projects are, I do wonder, will Second Life continue to matter in education in a time of unprecedented technological progress? Most certainly, says Tuncer Chan.
Second Life works because it combines lots of things like training, practice, reflection, and collaboration. VR may be able to do that someday, but currently it's too expensive. And we can't just buy 50 headsets for students.
And what does Irfan Şimşek get out of Second Life besides the positive feedback from thousands of graduating students?
One time at graduation, the mother of my student who I have never seen before says, I know you on Second Life.
Well, there you have it. For the Drax Files World Maker series, slightly jealous that Irfan has obviously surpassed me in virtual celebrity status, I'm Draxter Dupre.
Lilo, I'm a celebrity in Second Life. Je suis célèbre dans...
So I think yeah, we are good to go back to our PowerPoint. Yeah. So as you see, I don't need to now talk about all these because, like I said, this could be taking forever. But Dragster just wrap it up in 5-6 minutes. All the activities we have been doing, and this is a professional journalist who's doing documentaries. And I was promoted to, by doing all of these activities, promoted to a world maker, which gives me the strength to continue do my work in this environment as well. And these days, everybody's talking about the metaverse. Everybody's talking about three-dimensional worlds. You know what it is because you're still, and we are still using it in our own services here at the university. And you should notice I am not working alone because I'm a simple English teacher, right? And I can't do everything myself. So what I do is I work with a technical person, Irfan Şimşek, from the Computer and Instructional Technologies Department because they understand how education works digitally, but they also understand the technology. And then they can help you build most of the things which you have no chance to build. All the games that you have seen, the coordinate system games, the robot game, the snow dogs game, the climate planet game, all of these we created in the context of MA studies, by the way. So these were all master's degree studies where we asked real students to come in and learn in this environment, and all positive outcomes for the students. They didn't want to go outside the lab because they really wanted to continue playing with those games, although previously they didn't like math, blah, 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 lots of other things. So this is one example of how to disrupt the education and then to really put something valuable, a serious game in front of the kids rather than letting them lurk on the internet for no reason, right? And by the way, all of these games are playable in English and Turkish, which is we first play it in Turkish, but then we ask them to play it in English to acquire the English vocabulary like fractions, dogs and this and that, other things. So this is another thing that we did for language learning, because we wanted these games to be played in 2 languages so that the kids can first play their own language and then they can play them with a foreign language to acquire some vocabulary, to acquire some like the words like equation, blah, 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 lots of things. So another thing, all of this was, of course, inspired by these projects. Like I said, the Camelot project. The Camelot project is creating machinima that empowers live online language teaching and learning, because like you see, the teachers are actually creating materials here, and this is very favorable rather than having only the traditional global materials, course books. The Guinevere project was all about the gaming and how to create and teach the teachers how to create games here in this environment, and then to be able to create games for their students so that they can play with them. So but we turned all of these activities into MA studies to put research, real research into that, because we are not doing this just for fun. We are doing it for real reasons, right? This is a serious business here. So let me now report on one of the One research that I have done with my students here, training pre-service English language teachers with 3D machinima. Okay, so when I asked them to do all of this, and this is what they reported in the end. What are the affordances? What are the negative sides? The problems with this? And then this is what it all came down to. So first of all, they said that the experience was actually very good, but it was also very hard. Why? Because you have to learn a lot of technical things to be able to survive in this environment. But also it's enjoyable, challenging, but fun, awesome, all beautiful, beautiful. So we did a case study here with them, and we acquired their answers. They said that the collaboration here was actually complicated and painful because it's very difficult to have people. It's very difficult to have people work with you in these environments who are not in your level. So myself, like myself and Irfan, because I'm not next to him in technical knowledge. But what happens is I always ask, blah blah blah. So it's really complicated and painful at times. Yeah. But useful and have good harmony in this environment is very important, and also plays an important role. It's collective work, it's group work, good friends, a great pain also for some, but also you learn about compromise and you grow stronger. This is what they reported after the collaboration for them. The learning, they say they learned a lot. They learned relationships, they learned material design, they learned contextual learning by doing many other applications than just Second Life, because they have to learn 21st century digital skills as well, to be able to voice over, record, cut, and then put together and then create a movie out of this, right? A short movie out of this experience. So it was really something that they were reporting that a positive. Their technology, it was very complicated for them. Although it is very complicated, they learned many apps. There were a lot of, by the way, technical problems like Wi-Fi, internet connection, computer, because some computers just wouldn't work with this system because it requires a good graphic card, as you would imagine. So voicing over was difficult. Microphone editing, sandboxes, creating something on this environment was very difficult for them as well. But for professional development, they said that they felt self-efficient after this experience, which is what we are after, right? Why do we do our classes at university? We want them to be self-sufficient and to have self-confidence when they go into the field and then do teaching. And the best for me was increasing motivation to do their job. I think this is huge. And also self-esteem and lots of other nice things. And as a resource, this is limitless, really. Here my motto is, the teacher is the limit. In English they say it's the sky is the limit, but I would say here the teacher is the limit. So if the teacher knows and recognizes what is possible in these environments, then it all goes into this direction actually, right? So that's why it is limitless, right? And so it also increases the creativity of people, which is why we are doing our lessons at the university, because we want creative teachers to go into the market and then do a good job with their students and teach better, and perhaps to disrupt the education a little bit, because it's too far away from creativity, since we have these admittance exams, all traditional exam types in our country as well. So also, they were talking about that they were very, very convinced that these materials could be used in the classroom creatively with their students. So this was the report of my students in the end of this experience there. So I think this is where I'm ending my talk, and I want to thank you all for having me today. And I really want to thank for this idea of disrupting the education, because this is where we are. We have had the pandemic, and I think it is now the time where we can change something, or just go back to the old normal, because nobody is talking about the old normal, but a new normal. So it is not advisable to do that now, but go further. So thank you very much, Pradeep Mal.
Thank you so much, Dr. John, and for that very lucid and very relevant talk, especially for today on 3D virtual worlds and language learning. And before we leave, I request you to watch our detox of our disruptive literacy movement by Global Dream, which is an initiative by Dr. Sunita Gandhi since 2014.
Yeah.
This is to ensure everyone's participation via people's movement in helping India achieve total foundational literacy and numeracy. We have several talks on this every day. And for more information on this, on the talks that you would like to listen into, please go to 7408401000. So thank you once again, Dr. John, for that really interesting talk. And good evening, everybody. Good night. And goodbye. See you again tomorrow. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.